Hello, I'm Casey, and welcome to the first episode of Melodic Memories of Light's Monarch. This podcast is going to be something for me to talk about music, just kind of naturally talk about my favorite artists, their albums, be it new or old, anything that I just personally love, things that have had an effect on me, as music honestly has been in my life for as long as I can remember, starting all the way back to when I was probably 3 years old. Like around there at least, to where my mom had these CDs of Pink and Nickelback and Shakira. I think it was all of their first albums, though Nickelback was Silver Side Up, a classic album. Even though Nickelback has the reputation they do, I don't understand fully why, but I'm glad that they've embraced the meme at this point. They know that essentially it's all just free marketing and it's a way to get their name out, and obviously, but that's not what this is about. Nickelback, great band. They're from Canada, just as I am, actually from the same province. It's cool to kind of, know that there's some Canadians out there making some wicked music, and I can't discredit Pink or Shakira. I was 3, sitting in my fucking booster seat and singing along the lyrics to all the songs, swear words or not, and my mom just laughing and loving every moment of it. And it's something that kind of built my music taste, alongside with my stepdad, who listened to mostly country music, be it Johnny Cash, Keith Urban, Tim McGraw, those kind of older style, early 2000s even kind of country artists. Just such a good vibe. I still to this day love a lot of Keith Urban's music, and it's crazy to know that he still sounds almost the same for how long it's been, because that was early 2000s. It's at least been 20 years or more, and not to mention the older artists, of course, even longer. Country music isn't like that anymore, to be honest, though I've heard good things about Post Malone's new album. Haven't heard it myself, but who knows, maybe I'll give it a listen, and if it's something that stands out to me enough, it might even be featured on this podcast. Then on to my dad. He loved classic rock, be it Ozzy Osbourne, even Black Sabbath, Fleetwood Mac, Marty Robbins for old country as well. His music taste kind of defined mine at that age, because this was around when I was just a kid, like 5 years old. It wasn't until later in my life, around my teen years, when I really discovered my own music taste and my own passions. But this, I don't know, looking back on it, all these things kind of built up my music taste without ever realizing it, because I grew up with, living with my mom, my stepdad. They would listen to the country radio station nonstop. There was no change, constantly country music. And aside from when I was just with my mom, and she kind of had a more out there music taste compared to my stepdad, just with, again, the Pink, the Shakira, a lot of 80s kind of pop music, stuff that she grew up with listening to, in school and in high school, which also for me, I was shown a lot of artists and different music in high school, and not even just high school, to be honest. All the way back to elementary school, back on the schoolyard, being shown Eminem for the first time, and that was a time ago, early 2000s. I remember sitting out in the little playground area and having our MP3 players. I'm dating myself like crazy, but having our MP3 players and them showing me Eminem for the first time with Hi, My Name Is, Real Slim Shady, all the classics that you think of when you think of, Eminem, Slim Shady from that era. And I never heard music like that before growing up. It was always like rap music, never experienced until that moment. And also, my brothers had an Xbox, of course. I grew up with a PS2 personally at my dad's, but they had an Xbox. Fable, an amazing game, by the way. Aside from the point, they had music on the Xbox, and Eminem was one of the featured artists on their Xbox that they would play usually when they're playing the Tony Hawk game. Couldn't tell you which one it was, but something that just stands out in my memory alongside 3 Days Grace, I Have Become. That was my first kind of like venture into more of a grungy, kind of dark rock aesthetic, very angsty music. And as a kid, obviously I didn't relate to it, but damn, did I ever love it. It's something, just memories that stick out, and all my brothers honestly had something to bring to the table. Be it my one stepbrother with Volbeat, Alex Clare, even some Hollywood Undead, which is a an artist of themselves. I can appreciate them though as artists, especially nowadays that they've grown and just ultimately grown up a bit. Full respect to them. And alongside my iPod Touch growing up, like alongside my brothers at least, I had an iPod Touch. Before that, it was an MP3 player that was filled with like a bunch of early 2000s songs from my mom's DJ friend. A time ago, I tell you, but it really expanded my music taste. Because there's a lot of pop music, a lot of modern, at that time, modern rock, stuff that was on the radio mostly. Then, again, to my iPod Touch with Mariana's Trench and Your Favorite Martian, which got me into comedy music. If people don't know who Your Favorite Martian is, they are a YouTube band fronted by Ray William Johnson, the old co-host to Equals 3, which I don't think exists anymore, but he is someone that kind of formed a lot of my comedy music taste to go into different artists like Ninja Sex Party, be it Bo Burnham, Steel Panther, stuff like that. They're all in their own vibes, own genres. They make their own kind of music. But for what YFM is, I love them. I know that some of their songs are very childish, but it is just for the sense of humor. For a time when I was younger, they were my favorite band. But then they broke up, which then led me into Mariana's Trench, an amazing band in and of themselves. They have an album coming out August 30th. Be sure to pre-save that if you haven't. I'm excited for it, but besides the point, they were actually the first artist that I ever bought an album for myself. I bought the Ever After album in, I want to say 2013. Might have been a little bit before that. I can't remember when the album came out, to be honest. I think 2011, maybe. It was when they announced Ever After and had that released. Stuttering was the single at the time. I know it wasn't the lead single. I think it was the last one. But aside from that, it was just more things that grew my music taste for better or for worse, because the YFM also led into Smosh music, which that's hit or miss. Smosh, love those guys. Haven't ever like gotten to talk to them or anything of the sorts, but just growing up watching their stuff, hilarious. At least for my 8-year-old comedy, as they say they have. And then into my teen years with Black Veil Brides actually kicking it all off, which originally Black Veil Brides, I didn't like them when I first heard them. There was a girl that I met on Omegle, which is not a place that you should be, especially at that age that I was, because this was back in the summer of 2013. Summer of 2014, as it is my 10-year anniversary as a fan of theirs. It was back in summer 2014, went on Omegle looking for people, just literally, I think the only search filter that I had was Canada, and ended up talking to this person that was from Canada, nowhere near me, but from Canada all the same. And she ended up showing me through Skype, actually, of all things. Definitely don't recommend doing this, but I don't even think Omegle's a thing anymore. Regardless, she ended up showing me the Perfect Weapon music video, and it was unlike anything I've ever seen. The aesthetic, the makeup, the angst, the closest that I could have came to it was with 3 Days Grace, and this was like a mind-blowing, world-altering moment for me. It was something that I never expected, and after I seen it, I was like, that was interesting, but it's not my thing. And I want to say a week went by as to where it popped up back in my head, and it made me question, like, wait, who was that band? What was the band that had that song? The fucking heavy makeup, the emo as hell things. I didn't even really know what emo was, emo music. Granted, not saying Black Veil is emo music, but they were definitely in the scene, and they kind of just were, hand in hand. Though, not saying they're an emo band, because that's a different story, where that's more so, not for the metalcore. They were in their own thing. They were in the metalcore genre. It's just their early work was very much considered emo, and they couldn't really ever shake that. But, like I said, a week went by. I just couldn't stop thinking about it, and I went back and listened to it, and fell in love. And from that point on, loved them ever since to this day. And it led me actually through the YouTube recommendations, because when you click it and listen to the playlist, at least at the time, it showed a bunch of songs, different music videos from different artists. And it went into Panic at the Disco. I Write Sins, Not Tragedies. And that one, oh, let me tell you, I did a double take, probably a triple take at the time, not gonna lie, because it was so out of left field, going from Black Veil Brides, like Perfect Weapon, where it's that iconic opening scream and just heavy instrumentals, into the dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, like, like the piano and what Panic at the Disco was at the time when they started. It was amazing, though. Like, not gonna lie, it awakened something in me. I was like, hold up, this isn't Black Veil Brides, who is this? And Panic at the Disco, never heard of them before at that point, and I fell in love with them almost just as instantly. Still love them to this day. I hope Brendan Urie and his family are doing well, as I know that he hung it up to go be a father. All the respect to him, honestly. That's a big commitment, a big undertaking in life, something that will be super fulfilling looking back on. It's a shame we don't have more music from him, but he is an artist. Artists never stay quiet for too long, so who knows, maybe one day we'll see old Bebo himself come on back to the limelight. It's just, he was getting attacked a lot, kind of bad light. Nothing was ever, proven to my knowledge. He's just allegedly been called out for things that I'm not going to get into, but I respect him. He's one of my inspirations for sure, alongside Andy Bierzak of Black Veil Brides. One of the many inspirations at the very least. And he was one of the founding fathers, if you will, of my music taste and my musical journey, just as a overall music enjoyer. Then it goes into Kingdom Hearts as well, which is the instrumental, over-the-top music pieces. It is a video game. I don't know if many people know about it. Disney Square Enix crossover. Something that I personally adore. One of my favorite things, if not my absolute favorite thing in the whole world, is Kingdom Hearts and the whole series. And then into Steven Universe, which also has, in itself, is a musical, not gonna lie. It's a TV show, Cartoon Network. It's something that definitely shaped my musical taste around the time. I do adore musicals for the most part. Granted, if I let people know, I have not seen High School Musical, and I know, as childish as that one is a favorite of a lot of people. Nostalgia is a wild thing, and I can understand. I've never seen it, but power to you. I will one day watch it, I promise. But Steven Universe in itself is a musical, and it's just, again, the more emotional, kind of heartfelt things. It's something that I love with music, which even harkens back to growing up and hearing a lot of the songs that were stories. I love when songs tell a story, be it even false fiction, if it's a fictional story, I don't even really mind. Any sort of concept albums, I adore, and the song stories kind of built into the concept albums as a concept for me, because I just I don't know, something about them I just adore. They're some of my favorite things in the whole world. Black Veil Brides, uh, Wretched and Divine. My God, not a fake fan. I promise. I swear. But yeah, Wretched and Divine. It's a concept record. Phantom Tomorrow, concept record. Even going into Queen's record as well. Just any sort of concept records. Mariana's Trench. A lot of artists do it. But it's one of my favorite tropes. I love when songs, albums tell stories. It's just another beauty of the poetry of music, which is, again, I am a huge lyricist. I want to be able to create my own songs one day and write my own lyrics, and poetry has just always been such a huge influence on me throughout school, throughout life, after school. It's just a beautiful thing, and it's a beautiful way to express yourself. And I think the world, if it didn't have music or poetry or just creativity in any sense, it would be a very dark place to be. And I wouldn't want to see what that world would look like in any sense. But aside from that, I've also been to many concerts, many concerts. The biggest probably being the Trinity of Terror tour with Black Veil Brides, Motionless in White, and Ice Nine Kills. Some of the probably biggest bands in the metalcore genre to this day, aside from names like Falling in Reverse and Bad Omens, which I have also seen both bands. Amazing bands, but aside from the point, I've just been to many concerts and festivals, the biggest being When We Were Young Fest. Got to see Paramore. My God, I was uncontrollably, tears streaming down my face. Could not do a single thing about it. It was such a surreal moment to be surrounded in a crowd full of people and feel like she's singing. Hayley Williams herself is singing directly to me. I know that sounds self-centered, but it was such a moment that I just needed. I've loved their music for so long because I found them around the same time I found Panic at the Disco through around the same means. And, or no, you know what? It was around the same time, but I found them. It just kind of striked my memory. I found them through YouTube, but because I was trying to look up a Hailstorm song, of all things. I was trying to look up I Miss the Misery and found Misery Business, thinking it was the song, because I didn't know any better. And I was very mistaken, but I loved the song. And from that moment on, it just grew. And one of my favorite albums actually being Brand New Eyes. That album, I adore it. I got to hear Misguided Ghosts and their self-titled album, which was the fourth record of their release. That one, they also played Last Hope live, and both of those songs are the ones that I was uncontrollable tears for, ones that just really hit real hard for me, for all that I've been through, because I've struggled with a lot of different, mental issues, be it depression, body image issues, a lot that I won't super get into, just to kind of keep it light, but they helped me a lot, and music in general has helped me through all of that, and it is kind of the reason why I have such a passion for it, and why I do want to create myself, just to try to give back. Let people know that I understand, because artists before me have understood as well and got me through those dark times, and, any way to help, I just want to talk about it and eventually create. And to talk about my favorite albums like I want to do throughout this podcast, in album deep dives. It's just something I'm looking forward to, and to build, hopefully, a community of people that, like listening to me yap, even though it might be a little all over the place at times. The album deep dives are definitely not going to be every episode, but I am planning on trying to keep up with those, which the next episode I will give away that it is the start of the album deep dives. I'm not going to say what it is yet. It's probably already kind of obvious from some of the bands I've mentioned, or at least one specific one. And yeah, you'll just have to wait and see. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any listening platform that you choose to listen to your podcast on. Please subscribe and follow along. It's going to be just kind of my journey. This podcast is essentially my way to get out all my ideas and talk about things that I love. As Lights Monarch itself as a name, it's my creative name. It's for any creative endeavors that I want to take on, be it this podcast, as I'm saying, melodic memories of Lights Monarch. They're the memories that music has made for me, as music's kind of the guiding key in my life. But any creative endeavors that I want to take on, and for the passion that I have to work in creating my own music, it is me. Lights Monarch is me for my creativity, if that makes sense. And to not sound too over the top, but the podcast itself, I just want to talk naturally about my favorite artists and their albums, both new and old, be it from the start of their career to the end or most recent part of their career. Anything to do with them, new releases, things that I'm excited for, be it a tour. If I'm going to go see them, obviously you guys are going to hear about it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to share my memories that I created with it, as a few of the episodes that I honestly have planned are going over concerts I've been to, and hopefully having some of my friends on that ended up coming with me to these concerts to share their memories as well, because everyone can have a different experience, and that's one of the lovely things about live music. I adore live music. It's one of my favorite things in the world, alongside music in general, but being out at a show, down to the smallest, most intimate kind of bar show, to the biggest one that you can see at like a huge football stadium, anything from that to that and in between, they're all beautiful experiences in their own way, and it's the one place that everyone is there for the same thing. It's the one thing that brings everyone together, and there's no anger, there's no hate. Even if the artist is singing hateful things, you can feel that, but you're in unity, and it's just a beautiful thing, and it's something that I just adore. I don't think things would be the same without live music. Which is wild to say that I never went to my first concert until about 2017, when I was already 18 years old. Just something I never got to experience. Though the guitars around the campfire, I've experienced that plenty of times. I grew up on a farm, just a little FYI. Really rural kind of area on a farm. We would have fires with like family, and those are some of my favorite core memories that I've got, listening to my stepdad and uncle play guitar, make their own songs, be it covers or different versions of songs, adding my name and the rest of the kids' names into a song, and I'll forever remember those moments. Just some building blocks, the foundation of me. Back to the podcast itself, I want it to be a place to share my passion towards music and to highlight all the releases and to highlight my favorite artists. And from what I mean about the album breakdowns, to go over that a little bit, it's just going over the themes of the albums and what they've meant to me, and also breaking down the songs and sharing what they say and trying to convey, and what they're trying to convey, rather, through the lyrics and the instrumentation themselves. Now, listen, I'm not huge into music terminology. I will be straight up on that, but I have a very big passion for it. I'm an avid music listener, always have been for a long time, and I just want to be able to talk about these albums as they've affected me so much throughout my life. The ones that are mainstays, the ones that make me who I am, that have helped form me as who I am. It's a place to eventually also have these artists that I look up to, as I know they're all human. I'm not saying like they're idols or bigger than life. At the end of the day, we're all human, and I can respect them on that front, so don't get me wrong. It'd just be amazing to have these artists as hopeful guests, to just be able to pick their brains and see where their passion itself stems from as it grew. within themselves. And as this podcast itself grows, it's just going to be an outlet for my passion. I know we're starting small. I'm starting small. It's just me. That I'm the only one in Lights Monarch. It is me. So everything that I'm going to be doing is just right from my brain to you listeners and hopeful fellow community members, because I also want to be able to convey the emotions that the music shows. And I want to try to bring my own unique perspective to the podcast by using my own life experiences to relate to the music and grow a connection with you guys. So we can talk about music and how it's helped you. And you can reach out and let me know what your favorite artists are. Let me know what artists you want me to cover. It may be a favorite album. And never be afraid to reach out. My links to all my socials are in the link tree. It should be in the description of this podcast itself. And yeah, it's just Lights Monarch, at Lights Monarch for everything. So if for whatever reason you can't get my link tree, just go to YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. It's all Lights Monarch. And the YouTube and Twitch are going to be for future projects. Not really regarding the podcast, but if you end up liking me enough, go check them out. They won't be active right away, but they are there. There's some things uploaded to my YouTube that I uploaded a long time ago. A little bit cringe, but they're there. Just Kingdom Hearts stuff. Again, one of my favorite things. So kind of follows suit. And records, which is music, a passion, which I've already mentioned probably many times. Anyways, I want to be able to get real with you guys and feel something as the music itself has. I want to make you guys feel and really understand, at least from my perspective, how I view a song. And you may view it differently yourself. But I want to be able to talk about that. And the way that I consume art will be different than you. We might have differing opinions. But that's a part of the community that music brings. You're not supposed to like everything that everyone releases. That's the beauty of art. It's just supposed to make you feel. And I think music is one of the biggest ways to feel. Be it remembering things, because it's a great thing for memory loss, to counteract memory loss, rather, or, just feeling in general. It's for any moment within life, music is one of the most important things, in my opinion. But as I said, I want to ask you guys to share your thoughts and experiences with whatever album that's the topic for that episode. So with the next album breakdown that I'm going to be doing, rather the first one that you will be hearing, I want you to let me know your thoughts. Anything, whatever you want to touch on, because I'm curious to know. And also, give me suggestions. I'll try to make that a monthly episode if I can. Something just highlighting different bands, different artists, different albums that you guys love. And also, hopefully, an episode highlighting a band's entire career as I get towards the end of their deep dive, just to kind of give you guys an insight on what I want to do. So, aside from that, I'm going to be trying to write a poetry. My God. Try to write a poem for each week to end off the episodes. Written by either myself or one that just made me inspire and straight up feel, hopefully following the themes of that album breakdown or of that music that I'm talking about in whichever episode. And also talk on opinions in life, how I view things and reflect on the world and things around me to just kind of, fill in the gaps of the moments between. Essentially topics that could be relating to the music in question. For example, with the new Black Veil Brides EP, Bleeders. If you haven't heard it, go stream it. Amazing. If you love Sweeney Todd, definitely go check out the music videos for both Bleeders and My Friends. You won't be disappointed, I swear. Even if you don't like the music, the imagery itself screams Sweeney Todd. It's like it was directed by Tim Burton himself. It's a little bit brighter aesthetically, but regardless, they did it so much justice. But alongside that, Bleeders talks about revenge, I can then talk about things that also are revengeful, be it personally or things that I've just noticed throughout life. And finally, just to touch on a segment for recently released singles, be able to talk about them, and upcoming albums if there's any coming out soon, which I believe August 30th is a big release day, as I already mentioned. We've got Mariana's Trench releasing their new album, Palais Royale releasing their new album, and Valley releasing their new album as well. Just some ones that I've had on my radar. I'm sure there's more. Mothica, quick shout out. They're releasing their album, I believe, this Friday. So go check them out. Their vibe is immaculate. It's like it's like they made music directly for me. And I know that's very self-centered to say, but it's just something about it. The vibes, they check off every box. So go listen to them if you haven't. But as I was saying, I want to just be able to share my thoughts, my excitements, alongside getting people involved to share their thoughts and excitements on any social that you guys have. I want to build a community with you guys and be able to talk about music for anything. Just to be able to reminisce and share the love that we all feel for music. Music is a beautiful thing, and I feel a lot of people don't fully invest themselves in the lyrics and in what the music is trying to really say. I want to be able to discover the music within all of us through the things that have been released, through any sort of art form, discover the inner beauty that music itself has. So, on that note, I'm just going to quickly say, if you want to follow me, be sure to go follow me at Lights Monarch on all socials, and this podcast will be released, or there will be an episode releasing for this podcast every Monday. I will have, as I said, the album breakdowns. The moments between, though, are going to be filled with more just me talking. So if you like listening to me ramble, there will be more to come. And as I continue going, I might be more comfortable as I, know that I'm definitely nervous, first time ever recording. So please go easy on me, but reach out. Let me know your thoughts, any ways that I can improve the podcast itself. And yeah, with that, I hope everyone listening has an amazing day. Never forget your inner light, and hopefully the music can help it shine bright. I've been Lights Monarch, and have a great day.